Oh hey, welcome to GSUTV Scrapbook. I'm Cam.
And I'm Alex.
Want to see some fun places around GSU?
We're building a scrapbook of events, activities, and experiences in Atlanta.
We have correspondents all over Atlanta to show you what they found. This is correspondent McKenna Carton, as she's at Road Atlanta to teach us a different type of driver's ed.
This isn't your average driver's ed for GSU student Lyndon Boggs. At the Jzilla Pollen Pounder Track Day, pollen isn't the only thing flying around track. Lyndon is working with his track day trainer, Andy.
Gotta get smoother.
I think did we sort out 5?
Yeah.
We want to squeeze throttles now, yeses.
Lyndon's a quick learner, but after each session, Andy tells him where he can still improve.
A little bit of patience goes a long way in terms of applying throttle. Now you're getting a feel for what the flow should feel like.
In the car, clear communication is key.
No throttle, no lift, no lift. Brake.
Especially on an extreme track like Road Atlanta.
From the top of that hill, turn 11, to the bottom, turn 12, is about a 7-story drop.
Lyndon's dad, Patrick, made him realize racing could be possible. Patrick found his need for speed in an unlikely place.
At one of his jobs, I did like a corporate thing, and it was like, come drive a Lamborghini for a lap on a track. And he was like, I love this.
Patrick started out driving a cheap Miata. Lyndon says driving fast doesn't have to break the bank.
How much you spend varies on how much you want to spend. Like, this car is cheap. I get free track days because I'm staff.
And everyone has their vice. Speed is theirs.
I don't have that much money, but I'm doing this.
Subarus to Corvettes to a lone Ferrari. But what makes a good track car?
The best track car is a box. I'm going to stand by that.
Lyndon says the cheaper the car, the more likely you are to drive it faster.
Something cheap, plentiful, and with lots of aftermarket support.
Especially on a track like Road Atlanta, which Lyndon says can be unforgiving.
Like, you can come down that hill at full speed and hit a wall. You can go down that stretch, hit a wall. Just about every turn there's a wall waiting to be hit.
The key to speed is confidence.
Just a friendly reminder, no drifting through the corners.
And confidence is no issue for Kevin Bandy,
I've built a reputation.
who drives a Ford Mustang. I rode along with Kevin and survived the wild ride. After a successful track day, Lyndon looks back on what he's learned.
Getting familiar with the track, and I'm learning how to be a little bit smoother.
And the most important part,
I didn't wreck, the car didn't blow up, so that's big things.
from Atlanta's fastest road, McKenna Carlton, GSUTV.
So good?
At track day, people learned how to drive cars way faster than these. But correspondent Alex Benoit is at the Savoy Automobile Museum learning something a little bit different. Something for the car lover in you.
The Savoy Automobile Museum in Cartersville, Georgia, is showing people that cars can be exciting for everyone. The museum shows off many different types of cars that are not just for car enthusiasts, but also for people not into cars. As the curatorial research assistant, Maria Grusa, says, they have cars for everyone's niche.
Certain things that maybe I wouldn't think would be a big draw, you put it out there and you find out, yeah, there is this niche of people that they really love. So
The museum started when the founder, John Osher, decided he wanted to turn all of his hobbies into museums for the community. With that idea, he ended up creating 4 different non-profit museums. The first 2 were about history, the Booth Western History Museum and the Cartersville History Center.
So they did the booth for their Western art collection. They had always been collecting history, so they took over the old courthouse downtown, rehabbed it, put the history center in there.
He had other hobbies as well. He opened the Savoy Automobile Museum for his car collection and the Tellus Science Museum since he loved science.
They bought what was the old Wyman Mineral Museum and literally built the Tellus around it, and then we were the last one.
The name comes from when the museum was being built, an old 1954 Plymouth Savoy car was found on the property. The car is currently on display in the exact same spot it was found. The museum has many different exhibits. They have a permanent exhibit, which were the cars John Osher owned. They also take on temporary exhibits, like cars that are tied to 1950s and 60s music, cars that won awards, and old Ferraris. They keep the museum fresh by changing the temporary exhibits every few months. Maria Grusa explains how they acquire these cars.
We work a lot with a gentleman by the name of Ken Gross. Our curator will sit down with him and they will start mapping out what we're going to have for next year. So we have to plan almost a year in advance because we a lot of times have to borrow cars either from other museums or we have to find them from private collectors.
Mrs. Agrusa said the most popular cars that the museum ever had was their Georgia Tech car, the Oldsmobile, and the 2 Batmobiles they had. The museum also hosts many schools and camps for future drivers so that they can learn about cars. Some say there are less car enthusiasts nowadays, but the Savoy Automobile Museum wants to change that, one car at a time. For GSUTV in Cartersville, I'm Alex Benoit. If you want to see some of these classic cars in action, check out what correspondent Tony Hope is doing at Jay's Customs. He can show you classic models that look as good as new.
That's right, Alex. Here at Jay's Custom Cars, you won't find your ordinary mom van. Here they create mobile works of art.
Jay's Custom Cars transforms everyday vehicles into rolling artworks.
Anything you can think about your vehicle to make you happy, we're going to make it happen.
At the center of it all is Jarvis Davis, who found his passion for cars at an early age.
I was one of them kids that like to do exploring of model cars, and instead of just playing with the cars, I'm driving the cars for real. So
for 25 years, his shop has offered a wide range of services, from a fresh coat of paint to new wheels.
Paint, interior, sunroofs, convertible tops, tires, lowering, hiring.
But beyond the technical work, Davis emphasizes the customer experience.
I want to leave them with peace of mind, making the customer happy and being able to see his vision come to life.
He has designed cars for a multitude of celebrities, including Faison Love, who starred in the movie Friday.
A lot of people have different tastes, and I can adapt to them when they want their different tastes. So
Davis's builds have been featured in magazines and recognized at car shows across the nation.
Being at car shows now, people being able to see my craft. I've never been one of the ones that actually feel like I had to have something, but a lot of people see my craft and they rewarded me for my craft.
His favorite car brand to work on?
I'm a Mopar person.
Davis is a sucker for anything Mopar. He even owns a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner.
If you can come with a 69 Roadrunner or Chargers or Challengers, I love to work on them.
As a parting word for the audience, Davis said to trust and execute your vision.
Don't let other people bring you down in reference to what you're trying to design, because your vision is your vision. So
this is Tony Hope reporting for GSU TV.
What's more Atlanta than fast cars?
I know, right? I wonder what makes them go so fast.
I'm pretty sure one of the geniuses over at GSU Science Olympia can answer that. Here's correspondent Ellie Woodward.
There's a little bit more than just nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere. On Georgia State University's campus, tension fills the air as students from across the state compete in Georgia's annual Science Olympiad Division B tournament. From early morning to late afternoon, 22 teams from 14 middle schools go head-to-head in 8 different categories. At stake is a possible spot in the National Division B tournament, the most prestigious science competition in the United States.
The objective of Science Olympiad is to promote science among young learners and also to create an environment where students can learn, collaborate, and experience the beauty of science.
Well, it's because they're not moving very fast, but some of them are, and I will prove it to you.
Across GSU's Langdale Hall, Student Center East, and Classroom South, students fill rooms with gadgets and projects galore. Helping to judge the competition are volunteers just as diverse as the participants.
I am the boyfriend of the daughter of a professor at Tech who hosts for the Physics Olympiad. It's a lot of fun. I like, let the kids come out and work on their, science and everything. I'm a big supporter of STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
For some, the allure of competition comes through personal interest and a desire to embrace scientific passions.
I found myself interested by the topics that it offered, and such as remote sensing. I really liked it; just piqued my interest.
For others, the Science Olympiad is just a great opportunity to connect with peers and experience the joys of creativity.
There's just a level of happiness you get, from winning awards, working with great people, really smart people, and then just helping others.
No matter what brings students to the event, the experiences on display of teamwork and dedication are incredibly valuable, especially for young people turning their interest into achievement.
Honestly, I think what they're learning here with Olympiads is probably more applicable than what they're going to learn in a classroom. Anything that you can do hands-on is going to be better than on paper, in my opinion. So I think anything you do today is going to be, instrumental, but definitely big and helpful in the future.
In just a few years' time, the very students battling it out here might even translate these competition moments into successful careers.
So we are looking at the future scientists, future engineers. So this is a wonderful experience for the students. And this is also a wonderful experience to our students, to GSU students, to volunteer. So it's a win-win story for both.
Win or lose, success or defeat, the Science Olympiad offers an experiment in teamwork and collaboration for students from across Georgia. My hypothesis, it was a success. Ellie Woodward, downtown Atlanta, GSUTV.
Do you think the next Albert Einstein is here?
For sure.
Maybe the next Supreme Court judge is here. This is correspondent David Hoffman showing us GSU's mock trial club.
With a record of 7 wins and a CS of 12, is team 1634.
Here at Georgia State, students are winning big in the courtroom through the undergraduate mock trial program. In a mock trial, students take on the roles of attorneys and witnesses to bring the facts of a fictional court case into real life. Students testify at trial, they ask questions like real attorneys, and they work to prepare a case for a panel of judges.
The booth where the perpetrators were sitting.
Would you be able to identify where you recovered those prints from Exhibit 8?
While the trials might be fake, for junior Grace Breslin, the skills learned are very real.
My favorite part about doing mock trial at GSU is being able to work with a team and think creatively and critically about the case we're given to present it as best we can. It's really helped me with public speaking and just the way I'm able to communicate in general. I usually play witnesses, and I really like playing an expert witness because I like the challenge of being able to have a thorough handle of the facts I'm given as an expert and being able to use that to my advantage and to my team's advantage.
The team is very competitive, meeting twice a week to work on their case theory, discuss their arguments, and prepare for the range of tournaments that they compete in against other universities throughout the country.
My favorite part about mock trial at Georgia State is definitely the people. I think it's such a weird and niche activity. It's impossible to not bond with your teammates. Definitely my favorite role is always getting to give a closing argument as an attorney. That's when you sum up the entire case at the end and basically ask the jury to give you a verdict in your favor.
Currently, The Panthers stand as one of the last 50 teams remaining out of a season start of 800 programs. Their next competition is the National Championship in Washington, D.C.
So the past 3 years for GSU have definitely been our breakthrough at the national level. Past 3 years now consecutively, we've qualified for the national tournament. Last year we got an honorable mention, and 3 years ago our power ranking all the way 128. Now we're the 27th best team in the country. We've had so much individual success too. I think this past year we've had over 20 individual awards, and we've seen our alumni go on to compete in even law school advocacy and get into fantastic law schools.
The team works together both in the courtroom and the classroom.
Mr. McMahon, are you arguing that there are not hearing guards?
To make sure that the next generation of litigators are prepared for any case that might come their way.
Ignition, no blood on the steering wheel, no blood on the seatbelt, no blood on the seat that he was sitting in. Members of the jury, they're asking you to believe that they drove for 45 minutes and left not a single drop of blood on any crevice of that car.
With GSUTV in Atlanta, this is David Hoffman.
Putting together this scrapbook is tedious work. I feel like I need a coffee. What story should go into Scrapbook next?
Well, since you mentioned coffee, here's correspondent Anaya Moody making a coffee run.
Coffee. We eat it, we smell it, we make it. We plan our whole day around 1 cup of caffeine. However, we don't know where our money is going to. These franchises that we go to daily that take money out of our pockets, we don't know where it's going to. So today, we're gonna go on a quick coffee run and go to 3 coffee shops that have ethical qualities while still giving us a good cup of coffee at the same time. Come on.
Oppo Coffee Shop is a Filipino-owned cafe, roastery, and training center located 15 minutes from Georgia State. Jonathan Pascal, creator and owner of Oppo, has been running it since 2002 with love and care for his community.
I'm Jonathan. I'm the owner and founder of Oppo. Well, I've been in the coffee industry in Atlanta for 20 years now and have opened and run a lot of coffee shops in Atlanta. I owned Taproom Coffee in Kirkwood, not too far from here, for 11 years, just sold it last year. But while I already had that one, we were looking at starting a new company that would be a retail coffee shop and roastery and coffee training center all in one. And so it was just a natural progression for us in our points of our career and where we saw a need in specialty coffee in Atlanta for a place like that to exist. The beans come to us in these big burlap sacks, and then we open them up and then we cook them to brown on these machines. It really is a neat step that we get to be a part of, and then add a little bit of our own artistry and approach to coffee as a part of everyone's everyday life. And so creating a space physically that people can come get that coffee and then also take it into their homes through supplying them roasted coffee, and then connecting to that global supply chain of that coffee industry. It really is something that a lot of people aspire to having. People want to start their own coffee shops for those reasons, the ways that they connect to community and then intersect with everyone's everyday lives.
Coffee shops are often an intersection of life-changing moments and community. For Shaft Shop, it became the backbone for identity and recovery.
So the cafe opened, we started a pop-up cafe in probably about 9 months ago. And after doing that for 6 months, we decided to open a brick and mortar, but we've owned the brand Shafe since 2020.
The vibe is, we wanted it to be super comfortable and kind of mix the aesthetics of both and be able to welcome in all different types of groups of people, not just people that like coffee or just people that like skateboarding. We wanted kind of everyone to feel like they had something that they could be interested in our shop. So, yeah.
We've hosted Atlanta Pride And we've done LA Pride, Tampa Pride. We traveled New York Pride. We did that. We do a lot for the community because we love to create a safe space for others and somewhere they can go and be themselves. In 2020, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. So the doctors found it late. Stage 4, it's a terminal illness. So they gave me 6 months to live in 2020, and it's now 2026. So I'm definitely doing really well. And we have a lot of women that come in. We can teach them about breast cancer. And we have a lot of people that have cancer, whether that's in their family or if they have it personally. And we love connecting with them and saying, hey, this is what worked for me. This is how, because people say, how did you do this? How are you still here? Like, what does it feel like? You know, like all these questions. I'm like, yeah, I'm still like really sick, but at the same time, life is short.
And now we're back to square one, Zaxby's. And where's a better place to go to? Zaxby's centers students in their environment, giving them work and educational opportunities for growth. Zaxby's is one of the only coffee shops that employs students to run and manage their own coffee shops on campus. And today we will be talking to student CEO Addie Ellison about her experience of running and owning a part of Zaxby's franchise here at Georgia State.
So I've been quite involved with Georgia State over the past few years, but in different ways. I was big in Greek life, I was in Phi Mu sorority, served as the president there, and then I worked for the athletic department. So I've been involved, but not to this capacity. And so when I stepped into this role as student CEO, for me, I've been able to meet people that I don't think I would have met without them. I've met regulars who have now become pretty good friends who I'll see every now and then. I've been able to speak at events where I'm able to network and kind of grow my own confidence, and I'm able to reach new avenues that I think without Zaxby's I would not probably find. In college, it's easy to be comfortable. It's easy to go by with just a class, taking your classes, hanging out with your friends. But for me, it's like if you only have 4 years to really do it, go out and like find something unique that's gonna put you in so many different rooms. And so my community has grown thanks to Zaxby's, and I'm able to work with one of the best teams that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. So
We've been to 3 different coffee shops, and all these 3 have something in common: community. And because of that, my whole purpose of this segment was giving back and showing what we can do when we support our own. And hopefully this segment will help you realize what you can do to support your own too. Having the community come together isn't the only good things about these shops. They also have really great music. Which reminds me, our correspondent Moise Asfar is combing through record stores as we speak and adding vinyls into his collection. Moise, what did you find?
Anaya, the record keeps on spinning here in Atlanta, where I found plenty of folks keeping the lost art of vinyl records alive. Let's check them out and see what they have to offer. ThriftCon is considered the #1 vintage clothing convention in the country, and it emanated from right here in downtown Atlanta, Georgia. In one of the biggest thrifting events in the country, the tradition of vinyl records has been kept alive by 2 shops who came all the way from Tennessee to share their content to listeners.
You know, I only sell stuff that I like, and people here seem to really like the same kinds of things that I do, so we vibe really well. It's a good fit.
For Eric Robertson of Ventacular Records, located in Nashville, Tennessee, a trip to Atlanta was necessary to share his love for physical media with as many people as possible. A love that he got from his family and wants to pass down to the younger generation.
I mean, I got my first records from my dad, and I love being able to pass that on to people, you know, especially when they come back and tell you that you made a recommendation and it was perfect, and please recommend something else. That's about the best feeling you can get.
Right next to Eric and Ventacular Records stood Dowda's Records of nearby Chattanooga, Tennessee, operated by the man himself, Dave Dowda.
I wound up with so many records at home that I had to start selling some of the records. I've been collecting records for a long time, and I had about 30,000 records at home, so I had to start selling some.
For Dave, the sight of a younger person buying a vinyl record or any form of older media gives him optimism for the younger generation.
Oh, it's a great feeling, and it gives me hope for the future to see younger people picking up this kind of a hobby or interest. And it's that joy of having physical media that they can hold in their hands. I once heard a very wise man say, "You can't roll a joint on an MP3."
ThriftCon is great, but if you think a yearly thrifting event is the only place to get your vinyl fix, think again, because you can get records from just about anywhere, including right here in Atlanta. Nestled in the heart of Little Five Points lies a record store that has been open for 50 years and counting. Founded in 1976, Wax and Facts has seen the evolution of vinyls from the main source of music consumption to a lost art to finally re-entering the mainstream recently.
Vinyl has always been the backbone of this store. We had used vinyl, we got into import vinyls, then we got into new domestic vinyl through One Stops, but we had started as a used record store.
In 2022, the Recording Industry Association of America reported that roughly 41 million vinyl albums were sold compared to 33 million CDs that year, marking the first time in 35 years that vinyl sales surpassed CD sales. For Sean Bourne, who started working at Wax and Facts in 1978, 2 years after its foundation, it doesn't matter who leads the resurgence, young or old. As long as people are discovering new music, his mission is complete.
I think it's always great when anybody discovers music. Even an old head, they find a new record that they never knew about. That's wonderful. But yeah, we love it when young people buy music. We don't care what it is. It's their journey and it's their music to enjoy. It's not for me to say, hey, but if they like something that I really like, or they ask for a personal recommendation, I'm happy to do that.
While vinyl has experienced a recent resurgence in popularity, it is still a niche compared to more conventional forms of music, such as streaming services. So a small store like Wax and Facts that seems to blend in with the rest of Little Five Points, staying in business for half a century, speaks to the level of camaraderie Sean and his co-workers show towards this somewhat obscure hobby.
It's a testament to the two owners, the one's deceased now, but to Danny Beard and Harry DeMille, who started it and have maintained it, and all the people who've worked here that have helped make it a great place, and all our customers. Clearly, we wouldn't be anywhere if people didn't come in here and buy stuff from them, and we service them. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. It's great. It kept me from having to have a real job.
The record stores in Little Five Points are only a small part of the area's culture, and there's a whole lot to explore. Our correspondent Kate Stanziano can show you more from the Little Five Points Festival.
Yeah, Louise, but just showing the culture doesn't really do it justice, because here at Little Five Fest, you don't just see the culture, you feel it.
This is Little Five Points, an alternative neighborhood in Atlanta that focuses on the eclectic culture of the city. It hosts a number of festivals and events throughout the seasons, and one of the most anticipated is Little Five Fest. Started in 2023 by the Little Five Points Cultural District, this festival seeks to provide a safe and productive third space for the community. This festival draws people and animals of all kinds to come and celebrate. Artists show off their creations, from clothing to jewelry to artwork. There's something for everyone. One vendor tells us his experience.
Selling my art, having fun. I don't know, talking to people, seeing so many people. It's been kind of crazy, actually. So I do photography, I do digital art, digital mixed media. We do linoleum cuts, screen printing, all sorts of different kinds of printing.
Music also flowed during the event, with bands playing on 2 stages throughout the day. Skaters were invited to bring their boards, scooters, and skates to show off their skills to the crowd. It was refreshing to see everyone outside enjoying the weather, music, and art. Shop owners and employees also enjoyed these events and reflected on their importance.
We are in Psycho Sisters.
You think about like the festival events, how, is that important to the community here and all that stuff, bringing stuff?
Absolutely. It's just fun to see everyone's creativity come to life, and you know, now that we've got more festivals happening here in Little Five Points.
With all the chaos happening in the world, to have people slow down and have fun is necessary.
What was your favorite part of today?
My favorite part of today had to be the live music. It was really electrical and doing anything I've never seen.
Everyone was vibing and having a good time throughout the entire festival, which lasted through the weekend. Third spaces for the community to gather are important to us all, and they remind us we are more alike than we are different. And that was certainly true here at Little Five Fest.
Man, Little Five Fest, so fun.
And it's a great place to make a good memory.
But, you know, I think we need to leave some space for future memories.
Yeah, I agree. Until next time, Panthers, hopefully you can make some exciting experiences just like us. Bye.